next 18 months. I think it's like so important to like keep writing, because you always end up on a road of like refinement and like and yeah, rehearse and play as many shows as you. I always think when you first start out, like later on, you can kind of weed out the ones that are worth playing. But like, you know, even for us, like when I think back to our performances on our first record, I was like, I didn't know what the fuck I was doing. You know, like it's like you're constantly getting better. And actually, the for me, like the biggest like turning point with like music and songwriting was when I like stopped. And people might find this hard to believe, because I think that people think that our sound rests so heavily on our influences and stuff, but actually the second I stopped trying to be someone else was when like everything fell into place, and I was like, oh, this is the sound of my voice, and these are the sound, this is the kind, you know, like almost like coming to terms with your art and like, you know, realizing who you are and what you do that no one else does. Like, you know, you're never gonna be as, you know, you're never gonna, if you like Tame Impala, you're never gonna be as good as Tame Impala. If you like Vampire Weekend, you're never gonna, but you know, you could be the best at what you do. And I always think that's like it's a really
that's got
important
to be pretty tough to do. If you're that way inclined and you are naturally comparing yourself to other songwriters, to disassociate.
It's hard. I know, it's
like,
yeah.
well, this is me, and that's
it's quite. I guess it's quite. It sounds quite like it just you just know when it feels right. I don't know. I really found like when I listened back to the stuff I was doing when I was like 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, like it wasn't me. Like I was completely like channeling. You know, even to the point where I was like changing the tone of my voice because I wanted to sound like the people I liked. You know, and the minute I stopped doing that, I think that like doors started unlocking. I don't know.
So were you able to listen to other stuff intently by other artists?
Yeah,
when
definitely. Because I think you can be inspired. I think you can be inspired by stuff, absolutely. And I think that like, I think that every artist would be lying if they said they didn't. That's like, I think pop music by its nature is folk music. You know, you kind of borrow a bit and it sort of like changes as time goes on. But I don't know. I think that there's a difference between doing that and just
nicking.
Yeah.
So what kind of stuff were you listening to in the making of this record then? Was there a melting pot of influence?
We didn't really. We really didn't listen to much. It's such a boring answer, but like again, Ross, who made the record, was just he'd get very pissed off at us when we'd like reference other music. And he was like, "You're on your fourth album. Reference yourselves." I don't know. Like it was like he kind of banned music from. He was like, "What do you do?" He's like, "I don't care what they do. Do what you do." And so we really didn't listen. You know, obviously, as any music fan does, I like spent hours like listening to music when I wasn't in the studio, when we weren't in the studio. But in the studio was like Vaccines rule, wasn't it?
The only song I remember having been played in the studio was like the moment we stopped listening, when we listened to like everything at the end of tracking, like when everything was done and we were about to like kind of just like celebrate that we were finished. We just shut